One of the questions I'm often asked by people in the Freedom Founders community and even people within my own network is, David, where are you investing today? And that requires a little bit of a backdrop because if you know my story, I've been investing on my own accord for now going into year 45. Yeah, I'm that old. I started out as a hands-on operator, as most people who get into the realm of alternative investments do. Well, what's an alternative investment? I say that's anything, any investment, any asset class outside of Wall Street. Wall Street, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities. Look, I think diversification over a lot of asset classes, including Wall Street, can make sense for most people. I have nothing wrong with that. I think too much focus and dependency on Wall Street, which is what the vast majority of people do through their 401ks, through their financial advisors who really only have Wall Street to offer, that's a big problem, I believe. And I think more people would be wise not to take all their money out of the stock market, out of Wall Street. No, I'm not saying that at all. But learn what's available to you outside. And that requires some diligence and some work, some reinvestment in oneself. I've always been a believer in that. And so when I was still in school, I decided to start investing in my future by learning about real estate. Real estate has been my primary alternative investment for now over 45 years. But I'm going to get to where I am going today. Going back to my early years, really my first 20 years, I was very much a hands-on operator investor in direct investments. That would be the rental portfolio that I built up over 20 some years. And on the private credit side, buying notes secured by real estate and selling equity, properties, and carrying back financing. I like to be in between equities, the ownership, and the credit side. There's really a dance there. And depending upon where we are in the market cycle, I may be heavier in one side or the other. In other words, when we came out of the 2008 GFC, Great Financial Crisis, that was a time when I knew it would be wise to load up on equities. People could do the same thing in the stock market. I get it, right? Equities there when there's been a major correction in the stock market. If I'm a fan and I know what I'm doing, or that's where I put my chips when I want to make some headway, when we've gone through a down cycle, going back into various equities is the place to go. I just like to go into equities where I have more control. And real estate's where I do have more control. But it does have a time requirement. There is a learning curve in investing in alternatives. And that's really something everybody has to decide for themselves. Do you believe that there is enough of a benefit to you who is already busy in your life, your professional practice, your business, your family, hobbies, just time balance? Do you have the time? Do you have the desire to learn another skill set? Some people say yes, some people say no. That's a personal decision. You choose. I believe in my history, in my experience, that my work in learning about alternative investments, creating an environment, creating a network, the education, the experience, has served me so well in so many other areas just outside of my own investments. The connections alone in industries with entrepreneurship in areas that I never would have touched if I would have stayed only in my lane of dentistry. And I think, again, this is something that people have to decide. Well, how do you do that? How do you get there? That's a discussion for another day, but it does require a curiosity, a willing to learn more than just your specific technical profession or expertise, your licensure. It requires more than that. If you're that kind of person and you want to have more control of your financial future, which I believe is so important in the age, the environment, the economic and political cycle we're in right now, because it's changing. And that's why my investment asset classes have changed. I don't want to be the operator that I was for the first 20 plus years of my life. I like to be in the mix. I like to have my hands on and feel like I have more control, but more so today, I invest my capital through other people in alternative investments. I still invest a lot in real estate, not so much in equities today. Why? Because we're at the top. I think we've topped out in equities. I think equities in the stock market, equities that being on Wall Street, equities in the alternative classes, real estate, etc. I think we've topped out. We've had a big run, and it's time, or has been time, to take some chips off the table. I take chips off the table on a regular basis when I've had a big run in a certain asset class. Not that I don't believe in that asset class, but there's just a time to be in a certain marketplace, and there's a time to be out or moving capital. And that's what I get to do in the alternative space because I've got the connections. I've got the people that I can invest through, so I don't have to do all the work myself like I did back when I was in my 20s and 30s making things happen on my own accord. Today, I have to do due diligence and some underwriting of people who I am entrusting my capital in the alternative space that I like. So in real estate today, as I said, not so much in the equities. I'm looking for opportunities because opportunities are starting to appear. They're starting to appear, and I'm always on the forefront of, through the people through whom I invest, being aware, having them send me what they're looking at. And because of my experience in many, many years of doing this, I have a pretty good idea, a gut, if not, an objective ability to ascertain and discern what makes sense for my capital if it's an equity opportunity. And again, those are coming. As we go into this down cycle, those opportunities will start to pop up. We may have 2, 3, 4 years of opportunities, so you don't have to jump in early, but you do have to have some ability and a connection to the opportunities to be able to do this. You can't sit on the sidelines. You can't go on the internet and just throw your money at any syndicator or fund manager. You've got to know who you're investing with, what their track record is. There's a lot of due diligence that is required there. But again, this is an opportunity for what I call the inefficient markets. So where else in real estate do I put my money? Well, private credit, being on the lender side, being the bank, loaning money, which gives me a lot more control over where my money goes in what I call the capital stack, meaning those who lend money, like a bank, get paid first. Now, we don't get the same equity growth aspect, the tax benefits, the inflation hedge, if you will, that you do in equities, but there's a time to go for those types of benefits in equities, and a time to shift some capital into more liquid and what I call safer environment, and be ready to strike when the equities come back again. So again, real estate will always be my biggest focus, but where in the real estate capital stack, that depends upon where we are in the cycle. I'm more on the credit side today. I have, again, through my network, not because I have particular expertise in other areas, but I rely on people who I've gained a deeper relationship. This takes time. I invest in participating in many different high-level groups. I can do that today because I've been around long enough that I have the relationships, I have the ability, and I believe in investing in myself. I've always invested in myself at whatever level I was in my life to the ability that I could. I couldn't be in a high-level mastermind. I didn't have the capital. I didn't have the wherewithal. I didn't belong in high-level masterminds when I was very young. So I was in groups that taught more hands-on operation, which is a perfect place to be if you're younger in life. And if you have the time, don't take your eye off the ball. If you're a business owner, practice owner, you need to focus there. Don't get in the weeds of trying to do too many things as I did, which the wheels can come off. But as you rise up in the ranks, you're going to find that your time is more valuable than always being on the forefront of working your capital. Again, it's a spectrum. You decide where you are. This takes some diligence and discernment. It's what I love to do to help my Freedom Founders members determine where they are in the spectrum. Where are you in your life, your career, with your family? Where should you be putting your time, and where is your capital and time best used? I'm also a big fan today of what I call the insurance part of my capital, the more liquid aspect, the preservation side. More today than I was in 2020 or 2015, or certainly coming out of the GFC, where it was just like, I want to put my money in a lot of investments because I knew the growth cycle was back. Well, now we're in a different part of the cycle. Today, I believe in having a larger proportion of my capital in liquid and really protectionist arena. Well, what's that? Well, that's U.S. Treasuries, Treasury bills that pay over 4% today. Very liquid, very safe if I keep them in 6 months or less period. Easy to do. You can do it the same thing basically in money markets. You can do it in CDs, but I just prefer treasuries. The other piece of my preservation or liquidity bucket is precious metals, gold and silver. I've always had a relatively small amount in precious metals. I've added to that relatively aggressively over the last, I'd say, 3-4 years, just because I saw the opportunity to hedge more. And again, that money is liquid. I can pull it. I can move it other places if I need to. It's safe, and it also has a big inflation hedge, which has proved to be very, very beneficial in the last, say, 18 months. Those precious metals have climbed dramatically. Will they continue to do so? I think they will over periods of time. But again, this is something, you have to have discernment about. Other alternatives. I like energy. Now, like everything, you have to buy it at the right price. There are a lot of sellers out there today in the energy markets who, just like people can oversell real estate, will oversell it. In other words, sell you something that fundamentally is good and I think has a good long-term track record, but will way oversell the opportunity so that your returns, if you buy incorrectly, can be very much muted and not much better than what you could get, in treasuries or CDs. So I love energy, but again, you've got to find the right people because there's a lot of fraud and just a lot of people who take advantage of naive investors. But I love the sector. So oil and gas, working interests, again, got to be really, really careful about who you invest with, but there could be certainly some opportunities with the right operator. Again, don't just do this like on your own. Make sure you're with other people who can give you the background discernment. Royalties off of mineral rights, oil and gas mineral rights. That's another place that I have experience just as a passive investor, going back decades because I was the benefactor of mineral rights coming from my grandfather who had them back in the 80s and passed them on to me after his passing. And I have been the benefactor of regular royalty checks now for 20 plus years. And I continue to invest in the right place with the right operators or aggregators, I should say, in mineral rights. So I love energy. And again, I think we're at a low point in the market. If you're getting a good buy there, it's a good place to be. Other commodities. So I think we're in a down cycle, or we've been through a down cycle in commodities. Commodity prices have been low for a number of years. I think the commodity super cycle is going to start to rev back up. Probably right now is a good time. Again, you've got to find the right people who have experience, are reliable, trustworthy, have integrity. But with the right people, I think commodities can be another good place where one can put their capital. Those are some of the chief areas that I have diversified my investments over many years, but more so in the last decade, where my ability to invest through other people and not have to do it all myself gives me more diversification, which is always good. It gives me different hedge points where we are in the market cycle. Again, I don't have to do it all myself, and it gives me my time back because where I like to be involved, I don't want to be the one doing all the operations like I did when I was younger. My time is more valuable today, as yours probably is, or yours will be year after year. Your time is more valuable. You've got to decide where it's best. I will buy time by paying other people for resources, for investment access to mastermind groups that are high caliber, have good track records. I will pay to play because, again, at this point in my life, my time is more valuable. Where you are on the spectrum depends upon what you should do. And that becomes a conversation for another day. Hope this is helpful for you. Again, I'm David Phelps, and I love helping other people with their advocacy for their financial future. I think, again, it's a time where much more active management of your finances is going to be necessary in the years ahead. Passive investing, it has its run. It's had its run. I think that's going to be very dangerous in the future. But again, you have to decide for yourself. My best to you.